Right, let's rip the mask off the establishment's latest attempt to pull the wool over your eyes. A parliamentary report, trumpeted by MPs in their echo chamber in the media, has the gall to call claims of two-tier policing during the 2024 summer riots as baseless. Are they serious? This isn't just a denial of what's happening on our streets, it's an insult to every Brit who's watched our country fracture under a system that plays clear favourites, in my opinion. Two-tier policing isn't just alive and kicking, it's worse than ever, and I've got the receipts to prove it. I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GBN Originals. Right, let's get to work. First, let's tackle this so-called baseless claim head on. On April 14th, 2025, the Home Affairs Select Committee released a report patting the police on their back for their entirely appropriate response to the 2024 riots, sparked of course by the horrific murder of the 3 girls in Southport. The riots saw mosques attacked, asylum seeker hotels targeted, and police officers pelted with bricks. All terrible things, might I add. Well, the report insists there is clearly no evidence of two-tier policing. That's what I'm getting into today. They claim rioters were only met with force because they were throwing missiles, assaulting officers, and committing arson. They even called accusations of bias as disgraceful. Okay, here's the problem. The same report admits police were caught flat-footed, with gaps in intelligence from social media and the dark web. If they couldn't predict the riots, how are we supposed to trust they policed them fairly? It's a convenient story, but it doesn't hold up. Now, let's turn to Birmingham. This is where the mask slips entirely. On August the 7th, 2024, the Daily Express reported a jaw-dropping interview with West Midlands Police Superintendent Emmeline Richards, who admitted on Sky News that the police used a specific style of policing for a violent mob in Birmingham. We're talking about masked men, some armed, some attacked journalists and smashed up a pub, yet Richards called the crowd mostly law-abiding and bragged about relying on unelected community leaders to police the riot themselves. Yes, you heard that right. The police outsourced the law enforcement to unaccountable figures while standing back even though violence spilled over. Now compare that to Southport, where riot police were out in force, making 1,804 arrests and over 1,000 charges by January 2025.
Have you been getting a load of spam in your email recently? What about random calls? It's really annoying, isn't it? Data brokers are out there collecting your personal information. Anything from your email, your full name, your address, and even your political affiliation. Cyber criminals can even use AI to mimic the voices of friends and family to trick people into sending them money. And it gets even worse. People out there are getting huge loans taken out in their names without even knowing about it. But don't worry, because the sponsor of this video, Incogni, can help. They reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information is removed from their databases. Incogni continues to make sure that your data is removed automatically from the internet via repeated removal requests. So, how can you get started? Well, step 1, hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account and tell us whose data you'd like removed. Step 2, grant Incogni the right to work on your behalf. Step 3, sit back, relax and watch Incogni work. They will update consistently so you know when your data has been removed. Incogni is risk-free for 30 days, so you can try it for yourself and you'll get a free refund if the service isn't for you. So take back your personal data today with Incogni. Use the code GBNews using the link in the description below and you'll get 60% off an annual payment plan.
Reform UK's Richard Tice called it utterly shameful, and in my opinion, he's not wrong. This isn't just a difference in tactics, it's a smoking gun proving two-tier policing, and the MP's report, more importantly, is conveniently wrong and ignores it. But Birmingham's not an isolated case, is it? Let's go back to Harehills, Leeds, July 18th, 2024, just weeks before the Southport riots. A riot there broke out in a diverse, mostly Roma suburb after a family incident involving social services. Cars were burned, a bus was torched, and what did West Yorkshire police do? Well, they retreated. Spiked magazine reported that police essentially allowed the rioters to tire themselves out with minimal intervention. And the next day, there was no sign of the Prime Minister, was there? He wasn't giving speeches about violent thuggery, racists, or otherwise. Furthermore, the Leeds City Council, the day after the riot in Leeds, was busy praising diversity and richness of the Roma community that were involved in it. Now contrast that with Southport, where Keir Starmer branded rioters thugs, football hooligans and racists, and police deployed 6,000 officers with 2,000 in reserve. Same crime, different response. This isn't about talking about community tensions. I'm highlighting the point of two-tier policing, two-tier justice. You can't claim that there is equality and that these claims are baseless when the evidence is shouting at you in the face. It is two-tier in black and white. Then there's the Stoke-on-Trent incident where social media erupted over a video from the riots. A police liaison officer was filmed outside a mosque in Hanley, asking a group of men, some reportedly armed, to put their weapons back in the mosque to de-escalate. The officer's intent might have been to keep the peace, but imagine the outrage if the police had told the far-right rioters to pop your bricks back in the pub and walk away. It is unthinkable. Social media users tore into the incident, rightfully so, with many of them saying it's proof of two-tier care. The Home Affairs report might dismiss these claims as disgraceful, but when one group gets a negotiation and the other gets a baton, the public aren't stupid. They see the double standard. The establishment, of course, wants you to think this is all a far-right fever dream. They lean on the riot stats, for example, 246 protests, 88 significant incidents, 28 million in policing costs, and say the tough response was justified. Now, there's nothing wrong with a tough response, but why wasn't it consistent? This is the question. In Birmingham, police referred to community leaders. In Harehills, they ran away. In Stoke, they negotiated with armed groups. Yet in Southport, Rotherham and Hartlepool, it was zero tolerance. If that is not two-tier policing, what is? And The Spectator in August 2024 nailed this. They argued that identity politics has infected policing with forces terrified of upsetting certain communities. And there's plenty of evidence throughout that. Just look at what's going on with the rape gang scandals. And of course, the public agrees too. A YouGov poll from August 2024 found that 51% of Brits believe police treat black people differently, while they feel the white working class protesters are unfairly targeted. This isn't new either. Rewind to 2020 when the Black Lives Matter protests saw thousands gather during COVID lockdowns with barely a peep from police despite breaching restrictions. In fact, many of them took a knee for the cause. And compare that to 2021 anti-lockdown protests where police kettled demonstrators and made mass arrests. The pattern is so clear and it's only gotten worse. So why do MPs and the Home Office keep denying it? Because admitting two-tier policing exists would mean confronting the political pressures, wouldn't it? It would mean community dynamics being exposed and the fear of racism and an accusation that's thrown around in every single corner of the country. It would mean admitting that while officers were battered in Rotherham, they were cutting deals elsewhere in the country. It would mean facing the fact that our criminal justice system, as the Guardian report admits, is failing to keep up with the social media age, letting misinformation fuel unrest while the police pick their battles. Two-tier policing and justice is ripping our country apart. When one group can riot with impunity while the other faces the full force of the law, trust in policing crumbles. When community leaders dictate how laws are enforced, the rule of law itself is on life support. And when MPs call the evidence baseless, They're not just marking their own homework, they're failing to acknowledge the fact that British people are being told to deny what they see with their eyes and ears. Put simply, I think it is pure gaslighting. We deserve a police force that doesn't play favourites, and we deserve leaders who face reality instead of hiding behind reports. This is your wake-up call. Demand change or watch our nation crack down the middle. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the GB News YouTube channel.